Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to do a two-part video. The first part's going to be my rankings of the first week of the Warp Speed event. Only the MSPs are going to count for this one, not the additional ones like Mike Gardner or Quentin Byfield that you can get from the store. But let's get right into it. My first, for dead last out of this week is going to be Brandon Montour. And honestly, this is one of those great events where there's not a lot of spacing between first and last. But I have Brandon Montour last. I do like that he's a right defenseman because I feel like the left side's a little bit more stacked. But 6 foot, buck 99. He has in reverse and elite edges along with gold wheels. Remember, gold wheels is going to be for free. He's going to always have 99 excel, 99 agility, and 99 speed. You're going to see that on all the MSPs. I do like the 93 endurance. He has a little bit more slap shot power. His hands are in the low to mid 90s. For me, there's just nothing that sticks out on this card. I used it. He feels a little blocky at times, but that's just me. But as a right defenseman, it is a very solid pickup where we haven't had as many good right defenseman releases. But for me, I do have him at last place for now. There's nothing that just jumps off the pages to me. It's a really good card, but there are just some absolute bangers and great cards. Coming in next, it was very tough, but I'm going to go with Martin Necas. He comes in at 6'2", 189 pounds. He's got playmaking, forward, and speed boost, excel boost, silver lead edges, silver ankle breaker, and gold wheels. He's got 91 faceoffs, 94 balance, 91 endurance. His shot's right in the mid 90s. His hands are in the mid to upper 90s. His defensive stats are okay, but we're not here for the defense. We're here for the offense. Once again, silver lead edges is great. Silver ankle breaker, it's not too shabby, but 6'2", a buck 89 compared to a couple of the other forwards. He just doesn't carry the same amount of size. He is a right-handed shot, but I still think, though, that I would be using McKinnon ahead of him because of gold elite edges. He's just harder to knock off the puck. And, it would be a battle, but I would still probably play the Team of the Week Ovechkin card ahead of him. He maybe doesn't have the same amount of speed as him, but the size difference, he just doesn't get knocked off the puck as easy. But that's just me. It's very, very close. And I'm trying to think of some of the other cards out there while you're making these tough decisions. Then in third, I have Peter Bondra. He is 6'1", 200 pounds. He's a lefty winger. He has silver wheels, he has silver ankle breaker, silver lead edges, 99 speed, all that fun stuff, 91 endurance. His shot's in the mid to upper 90s, which is a little bit different. His hands are in the mid 90s. His defensive stats are just slightly higher. I know what you're thinking. He's on the left side compared to the right side, so Necas should have that distinct advantage. The Bondra card just plays a lot smoother for me. That's just me. I don't know if you guys have had the same thing, but when I tried him out, I know wild card isn't always the end-all be-all, but for the small sample size I had, he just moves more fluid. And I know the left side's going to be a lot more difficult to make these cards depending on where you want, but I'm looking at it from the sole fact of, he is a traditional winger. And Necas ain't going to be starting as a center. He's probably going to be a winger because he has lower end on the faceoffs, but that's just me. But this card is just absolutely immaculate. It's something a little bit different. I didn't even know who this guy was 100% until they got into kind of explaining, his significance to the game before Ovi kind of came in and some of the teams he played for. But he plays very smooth. Highly recommend looking at making this. If you haven't already, give it a shot. I think you'll really like the card. Coming in second is Scott Niedermayer. Scott Niedermayer's card's been great all year. If you have his power-up icon, you already know this. But now you have a card that has 99 excel, 99 speed, 92 balance, 93 endurance. 100% he could be your first-line defenseman. I think he plays better than Megan Keller. I just wish that he had all the attributes that Megan Keller would have. But for gold wheels and stuff like that, having 93 endurance, his shot's not the craziest, and that's where it's going to be a little bit less than, because the left defenseman side's a lot harder and more competitive, at least for mine, because I have Ekholm, Keller, and then Niedermayer. But honestly, he could easily run first line and be just fine. I also love the silver elite edges, and if you have his power-up icon, you have gold elite edges as well, so don't be hesitant on looking at that as well. He's got pretty good defensive stats as well, but Scott Niedermayer's card always plays really well, and number one, it's no surprise. It is Mike Modano, 6'3", 212. He comes with the size. You can float him in at faceoffs because he has 94 faceoffs. You can float him in at center, or you can run him at wing, depending on how you want to play. 93 endurance, 94 balance. His shots in the mid 90s, but it doesn't matter when you have 99 XL, 99 speed, and 99 agility. Once again, his body checking's a little bit higher, or it's at an 87, but his defensive stats are higher. But 6'3", 212 pounds, he's naturally going to be harder to knock off the puck compared to the other centers like Martin Necas in this event. That's just me personally. Mike Modano, we always get a fantastic card from him once a year, and this one does not disappoint either. That's my quick rankings and why I would choose it. Mike Modano, I have played him at center and I've also played him at wing. I really think it depends what your team needs, but your first line could be Mike Modano at center, Team of the Year McKinnon, Team of the Year McDavid, or you can add more depth as a winger, and I have him ahead of McDavid. He plays better than McDavid right now because of the size difference. But other than that, guys, the second part of this video is going to be, can I make some of these for free? It's always the question we have every single week going into it. And I want to show you a way to make these cards for as cheap as possible. So what you're going to want to do first is you're going to have to size up and see what you have over on the exchange. This is where I always recommend do your HUT champs. Try to go for 10 wins. Why does that matter? It may be a free card that you can use for a trade-in. So say, for instance, you do want to make Mike Modano. You are going to see it's going to cost 389 plus Warp Speed cards along with 289 pluses. So if you're getting your 10 wins in champs, there's your chance of having a card that you can immediately use for a trade-in, and it's one less you need on there. Plus, it's getting you XP on the XP path by playing and winning games and stuff like that. That's just my suggestion. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but if it gets you a free additional card towards a fantastic event like this, where for me personally, this is the first time I'm saying this in a while, I want to make multiple MSPs. But right now I've already made Mike Modano. I'm going to be smart. Wait till the second week and see what they come out with, because this is probably one of the best events we've had all year, top to bottom. Then, so you see what we need for it. There's a couple different ways you can go about it. You can look and you can trade in some 87 plus Warp Speed cards to make an 89. That can be used for trade-in. And to make those 87s, you could trade in some 85 pluses. At the same time, if you get your daily collectibles out of the store, don't forget to do that. That's 5. If you pop on over here, you can get 89 overall Warp Speed players that you can trade in using those collectibles. You can also obtain collectibles by doing objectives, moments, or wild card. And I'm going to break it down for you and see how much we can actually get from this event. This is when the video for me kind of really starts ramping up. So follow along with my logic here, because luckily, when in doubt, I wrote it down. So if we take a look over at the objectives for Warp Speed in week 1, you can get an 89 overall Warp Speed player. There's check 1. If you did champs, there's another one you can knock off the list, but there's an 89 overall right there. At the same time, from all the different collects you can get from doing these different challenges, and honestly, I haven't put a whole lot of time into it, you can get yourself 26 collectibles plus an 87 BND that you can use to help get through some of these objectives and stuff. At the same time, you can get Warp Speed Mike Garner. Mike Garner can also help towards those objectives as well. So when going through this as far as an order goes, I would highly recommend starting with your Mike Garner moments, because then you can get yourself another player for free. If you go over to the moments, you can knock these out. It's going to be a little difficult because they give you the base icon of Mike Garner. So when you get up to score 1 goal in overtime, he gets knocked off the puck pretty easy because he's small. But if you can complete these, it will give you a Warp Speed token along with the Mike Garner card. And then if you go over to the moments is going to award you 2 83s, 2 85s, and an 87 Warp Speed card. So there's another 87 that you can drop into the bucket right there. At the same time, wild cards kind of done similar, but a little bit different. Just how the rewards are. It's still the same format as far as the 12 levels, 10,000 points. But you get a Warp Speed token that can upgrade Mike Garner. You can also get the 87 overall. It's a Warp Speed card along with 24 collectibles. Once you go back over to your objectives, you can also see with Mike Garner, there are other packs that go with it. Now, I've been going back and forth if I want to complete all the stuff to make Mike Gardner maxed out. The nice part is we have 2 weeks to do it. So if you don't get everything done in wildcard this week, you can maybe try for next week. But you need 20 goals in wildcard. It's very difficult to do because it's in a 5-on-5 format. So compared to some of the other players, it's just very difficult to get those breakaway situations. At the same time, these teammate packs, I've got nothing but 86s. So I would recommend doing them just for the sole fact of getting these free 86s. It's only beneficial to you. And there's a lot of teammate packs out there. You get a token for getting these goals, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 86s that are there for the taking. They're untradeable, so you can throw them right back into sets if you want to. Plus, you get the tokens to upgrade Mike Gardner all the way up the chain to a 91 overall. But if we head back over to the exchange, thank you so much for staying with me and following along here. When you go back into the event, let's start adding all this stuff up together. So just from your wild card and objectives, you get 50 collectibles. As long as you open up 2 daily packs, you should be able to have 60 collects. And with those 60 collectibles, I'm doing the 89 overall Warp Speed player that's untradeable. There's 2 89s that you can throw into a set. At the same time, you also, from the wild card, got an 87 overall that you can throw into sets as well. So if you go over here, you can toss 187 that you get from wild card in there, and you get an 87 overall from your moments. At the same time, you can take 2 85s that you got from moments as well and throw them into here to make your other 87. So you only need 185. And that will give you your final 87 to complete this set. So now, just like that, you have an 89 from objectives. And then you got your second 89 overall from there as well. So just like that, I have 2 89s covered. If you did champs, you got another one covered. You're only going to need... you're actually only going to need 189 because the 60 collects will cover these two. Then I showed you how to stack making those 87s and the 85s to get your third. If you did Hut Champs and got 10 wins, there's your fourth. And you just need to make one card at an 89 overall. It can be anything in your sets. That's why I save all those Hut Champs cards with 10 wins, because you never know when you're going to want to make maybe multiple MSPs. This is a good shot for it. If you didn't use stuff like the last event, I still made anything that was high, 88s, 89s, anything I could get my hands on. From like the sharpshooter event or the nations event, if I didn't make multiple people. And that makes a difference, especially when you're going into events where you might want to make more than one. I hope this video really helps you guys out in your decision-making process of what you want to do. I'm showing you step by step that you can make these cards for free. Just got to have a little bit of patience. But the objectives are not crazy like they have been. I think the hardest thing would be the sweep checks. But naturally, by me doing all the other things, I've gotten probably like all but 13 sweep checks done. And I really haven't put a whole lot of time and effort into the game this weekend. We will be live here soon. So, yeah, the Twitch link is down below. Go ahead and click that. Maybe you'll see me live finishing up my Hut Champs run as we try to get our 10 wins. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday fun day. Thank you guys so much for stopping in. Thank you for checking out the ranking systems along with how to make one of these for free. Other than that, have a wonderful weekend, guys, and we'll see you back here next time. Don't forget, give this a thumbs up and hit subscribe down below.